So you've heard about friends with benefits? Yeah, no, this video is not about that. This video is about friends with clients, as in, should you be friends with clients? Should you be friends with your clients? Hi guys, if we haven't met yet, my name is Sufit. Even if we have met, my name is Sufit, and I am the founder of this Follow That Dream community. Welcome. So, should you be friends with clients? Now, obviously, a lot depends on what you do. If you sell photocopy cartridges, if you sell ink cartridges, if you sell shampoo, yeah, those are different considerations than if you're a coach like I am. I've only really had two real jobs in my life. Number one as a lawyer, and number two as a coach. I guess the third one, if you count when I was 17 working on McDonald's. Would you like fries with that? Not as many issues with that job. And in both those professions, both lawyer and coach, being friends with your clients can be a bit tricky. On the one hand, you know a lot of stuff about them, right? Intimate stuff. On the other hand, you know a lot of stuff about them. Intimate stuff, right? So what if you are a coach, a lawyer, a consultant, a psychiatrist, a doctor, a counselor? Well, a lot of issues that can come up, issues around boundaries, issues around you enforcing your rules, issues around pricing, issues around your cancellation policy, issues around lateness. What else? Tell me in the comments, what did I miss? By the way, while you're there, hit like, hit subscribe. You know that it's a lot harder to enforce your policies, your company policies, your practice policies with friends than it would be with just arm's length clients. Something to consider. Boundaries regarding access, right? Do you want to get phone calls at 10 at night? The friendlier you get, the more likely it is that you'll get a telephone call at 10 at night. Hey Sufit, what do you think about this great idea I just had? Well, 9 to 5, buddy. On the clock, buddy. You know how the psychiatrists always say, yes, I see that our time is up. Not with friends, it isn't. So what if you're a realtor? Okay, that's kind of in the middle. You kind of think, well, a realtor, we can probably get away with it, right? You're just selling them a house. But what if you're the kind of realtor that in your business, in your practice, you show a client 5, 6 houses and say, okay, buddy, pick one, right? I actually know realtors who that's kind of their modus operandi. Well, not with a friend, you don't. What if your friend wants to see 10 houses a day for 10 months before the client will even consider buying anything? Well, not if it's a friend. What if you're not selling houses, you're selling something else, but your friend / now client is a negotiator? Are you going to be able to negotiate on price with your friend in the manner that you would negotiate with a stranger? Or are you going to give extra concessions? Are you later going to be resentful about those extra concessions? Is your client / friend going to be resentful, even though you made those concessions, that you didn't give more, that you didn't give more concessions, that you didn't give more time, that you didn't give more value? What do you do if the client is upset with you about something? It's your friend, right? What do you do? Are you going to lose a friendship over this client relationship? What are you going to do if the client thinks that someone else could have done it better, but the client doesn't want to speak up, or the client thinks something's wrong, but now the client is embarrassed to speak up because you're friends, right? Awkward. So if you're at arm's length with this client, there's no problem. Hey, buddy, that's how I do business. You don't like it? Move along. Don't let the barn door hit you on the way out. I'm not suggesting that you're not friendly with your clients, that you don't like your clients, that you don't treat your clients with respect. Of course, I love my clients. I treat my clients with respect. They treat me with respect. But it's harder if the person's a friend. So I'll give you an example. One of my best friends now was a total stranger when I met her at a networking meeting. I met her 3 times before I even realized it was the same person. Her name is Ruthie. And she runs a business called The Lunch Lady. And she became a client. She asked me to help her with speaking, with the 30-second networking infomercial, with marketing, with branding, with all of those things. I stuck her in a gingham apron and sent her to get photographed. And anyway, I'm not taking any credit for her success. She's wildly successful. I call her now the mogul. Somehow this friend, this client, when we finished our sessions, and actually maybe before we finished them, she snuck under my gate. Now, you guys got to understand, I've got gates. I've got security guards at those gates. I've got very high fences. You can't climb over them. You can't sneak under them. I don't know how Ruthie snuck through. I have one or two other friends who snuck through. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but she did. So then, that's fine. We're not clienting anymore. We go to lunch together. We're friends. We're buddies, right? I tell her all my stuff. She tells me her stuff. A few years later, when we're in this friend category, she says to me, Tsufit, I'd love you to speak for my franchises. She had, at that time, 60 franchises across Canada. She probably has more now. Awkward. How do I negotiate with her about price? How do I? Well, luckily she had a partner. I think she still has a partner named Jim. And I said, okay, I'll do it on one condition. I get to negotiate price and everything else with your partner, Jim. You and I never talk about those things, right? She agreed to that. We negotiated a price. I did it. Everything's fine. But what if that weren't the situation? What if something went wrong? What if she didn't want to say anything? What if I didn't want to say anything? Yeah, it's not something that I would personally recommend. Now, I asked my community on LinkedIn. I lead a community called Step Into the Spotlight, 15,000 entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, coaches, experts, influencers, media on LinkedIn. And we talk about marketing and branding. And I asked them this question. I did a poll. I said, should you be friends with your clients? At first, it was like 60% saying sure and 33% or something saying no. Now I see it's closer to 50-50, and I think it's going to tip the other way when people really, really think about the ramifications of this. At least that's how I see it. Now, it's because boundaries are different with clients than they are with friends, and it's way harder to maintain your boundaries with friends than it is with clients, right? Everything becomes with friends so flexible, so loosey-goosey. Rules are way, way harder to enforce. And you know what? There may be even governing bodies, depending what your profession is, prohibiting this kind of friendship, right? Like, governing bodies don't usually prohibit friendship, but like, if you're a lawyer, if you're a psychiatrist, if you're a medical doctor, there are probably rules. I'm pretty sure there are. I'm not sure about lawyer, but with the other two for sure, about becoming intimate with your client. What if it goes beyond friendship? What if it's a relationship-y thing? They don't like that in these professions. Okay, so let's flip this. Let's say you're already friends with this person first, and then that person wants to hire you for whatever it is you do. Again, if you're selling, balloons, you can sell this person some balloons. If you're selling lawn chairs, okay, but what if that lawn chair breaks? And what if that lawn chair only lasts for a few months and then gets discolored in the sun? What's your friend gonna say? I mean, it's dangerous even with lawn chairs, people, okay? But if you get into coaching, consulting, psychiatry, doctoring, lawyering, all that stuff, yeah, same issue, right? Now, after the client relationship ends, why not, right? So my client relationship with Ruthie has ended. I would not take her back as a client if she begged me. Ruthie, you hear that? Not taking you back as a client because I value our friendship too much. And you know what? I've got a lot of clients, and I've got, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people who think that they're my friend, and I'm very friendly with zillions of people, so probably a lot more people think that they're my friend than I consider to be a really close friend, but I can probably count on one or two hands the number of close friends that I have. Clients are easy. Clients come, clients go. I value them, but you know what, a friend, I'm not mucking that up with a client relationship. I love my clients, but if you ask me, you got to choose. Are you my client? Are you my friend? If you're a friend, I'll send you to somebody else. I'll refer you to somebody else. So comment below. First of all, what did I forget to mention, either pro or con? I know pretty much this whole video has been con, and my intention was there'd be pros too. What's the pro? Yeah, you like each other, you respect each other, you get along, but all of that can fall apart really easily if you go on a ski trip together. Okay, let me tell you that. Not that I've done that, but I imagine that that would happen, and I'm sure some of you have had that happen. Please share with us in the comments below. Have you been friends with your clients? Have you taken on clients from people who are already your friends? What happened? Did it work out? Did it not work out? What are your cautionary tales? Share it with us in the comments below. Hit like, hit subscribe. This is Sufit, and I will see you all around our Follow That Dream campus. Ciao, ciao!